Hi, I'm Jeremy, and holy crap! I don't know what it is that I just saw. It was this thing that I saw with, oh, what's this loser's name? Andrew Cuomo, and I think he's the governor of New York. Is he the governor? Or is he the mayor? He's the governor. He's the governor of New York State. He's not the mayor of New York City. That's de Blasio, right? I don't know. I don't care. I don't live there. They're insane. And I'm going to show, yet again, as I always do, that there are lies. I don't care about changing anybody's mind because most of the people out there have their minds made. But these are for the people who are less interested about Republicans and Democrats, and you're interested in the truth. I was watching this video from Louis Rossmann, and at the end, he had this, I don't know what this is, some kind of press conference, I guess. The title of the video is "This is the New Normal and It Sucks." And at 13 minutes and 22 seconds, at the end, he had this. I like this guy. He's talking about the Right to Repair Act and how, you know what, if you went out and you bought it, then you should have the right to repair it. But these big companies, whenever they have all these parts that are manufactured to be able to put together like a cell phone or something like that, they tell these smaller companies that produce parts not to sell them to anybody so you can't have them repaired. So they might say, yes, you can repair it yourself, but if you can't get a hold of the parts, you can't do it. And then this guy, Lewis puts this at the end, and it's like, I think everything that he's saying is a lie. And so I wanted to go over. I couldn't find the video because this is a video that's not recent, because they're talking about now that the economy's closed, how do people afford to live? And I'm just going to tear this thing apart because it's just like, the things that come out of his mouth just baffle me. But this is the problem, because he has no responsibility for anything, for the outcome of the policies or even for the words that are coming out of his mouth. So politicians can say any damn thing that they want, and it's just a bunch of platitudes, it's buzzwords, it's just a bunch of nothing. And I'm just going to destroy all of this. And so if you don't care about the government and the Republicans and the Democrats, and you want to know the truth, then give the video a like, subscribe, become a member, give it a thumbs up. I've got Patreon, subscribe star, yada, yada, yada. So let's listen to this nonsense. And so it's going to start off with some woman, by the look on his face over here, she's over here out of sight. And it sounds like this girl who's talking is a little, it sounds like she's genuinely interested in all this and wants an answer, and it's like, yeah, give me something. She doesn't sound hostile, but he does, because he doesn't know what he's talking about at all. Anyways, let's go ahead and start. It's going to start with her asking the question and then his ludicrous responses to all of this stuff.
If you can't afford to pay me unemployment, or your system
You
is
will
not
be
set
paid.
up,
You will be paid.
but
Unemployment
they can't
from the
wait
day.
for the they can't wait for the money.
Let's listen to her question
Yeah, we're
again.
talking-
to pay me unemployment, or
See you on the next video.
if you can't afford to pay me unemployment, or your system
You
is
will
not
be
set
paid.
up.
You will.
If you can't afford to pay me unemployment, or if the system,
You
is
will
not
be
set
paid.
up,
You will be paid.
or your system
You
is
will
not
be
set
paid.
up.
That way, but not you. I'll see you on the next video.
If you can't afford to pay me unemployment, or
if you can't afford to pay me unemployment, and I'll say that her wording of the question was a little weak.
or your system
You
is
will.
not
So she's saying that, to clarify this, it's not just getting paid, it's not getting paid enough. That I'm not going to get paid off of your system. And the last little thing that and this is where her question is weak, is that if I'm not going to get paid enough, because now I don't have a job and my standard of living was above this welfare trash system that you have, if I'm not going to get paid, or if the system, what she's trying to say is the semantics behind it doesn't matter. Whether if there's not enough money or if the system just sucks. And she'll clarify this a little bit more. And then he butts in because he doesn't want the clarification. Because if she clarifies this, he's got no response for it.
You will be paid. You will be paid.
No, you won't. Oh my God. It's like, shut up. Let her finish her question. It's her question, not yours. Man, the audacity.
But
Unemployment
they can't
from the
wait
day.
for the they can't wait for the money. They're
Can't
out
wait?
of money.
Yeah, we're talking about a couple of days.
I believe, if I remember this correctly, she's going to talk about, or he even says about how it's not. Somebody's going to talk about how it's not enough.
Lag on the unemployment insurance, and they will get the check from the date of unemployment.
Banks don't care. All these, the credit card companies don't care. If they have bills that need to get paid to pay for their water, for their electricity, for their heat, they don't care. You know why? Because they need the money now so they can pay and manage their businesses. So I've told this story before, and that is, I'm a landlord. And this is something that I tell any tenant that comes up and tells me, I don't have rent for the month. Oh, so you want to go talk to the bank? No, I don't have the money, and I can't get a loan. No. You want to go talk to my bank. Because whenever I go make the mortgage payment, then a little light starts going off in their head. Whenever I go to the bank to make the mortgage payment, they're going to say, do your job. They're going to say, you go get that money from them, or you kick them out and you put in someone who does. Or we're going to foreclose on your property and we're going to take it from you. And we're going to put it in the hands of somebody who's capable of doing this. That we will give it to somebody else. We will take it. We will put it on the market. We will sell it and have somebody there who's going to be able to make these payments. So then I say again, so you want to go talk to the bank, to my bank, and you want to tell them your excuse. And I know what they're going to say, because they don't listen to me. They're not going to listen to you either. And I'm not going to risk losing my place because of any tenant. I did not think of you, Mary Sue, whenever I bought the place, or John Doe. You did not factor into my purchasing decisions at all. And you don't factor into if I'm going to be forced to sell this or not. You're going to go. And it's the same thing with all of these people. They're like, I have all these bills, and I need the money, and I need it now. I don't have time to wait, because they're not going to wait. Why should they?
It does not cost them an extra penny.
It does. Because even if you give it to them a day late, they now have late fees. Are you going to compensate them for that? Because you know what? These are your policies. You decided to lock down the economy. You're the one who decided that everybody needs to go on to welfare. You're the one who's not set up to deal with this, because you're not going to give people enough money, and you're not even going to give it to them on time. So you are starting off throwing them into the hole already. Great. It's like, weren't you elected to represent the people? All the people? It sounds like he's there representing the 1%. Because it's like, what do they care? They have plenty of money, thus the 1%.
Now, they can say unemployment insurance isn't enough.
crap because he already knows. He already knows that this is where she's going. You know why? Because it's not the first time that he's heard this. How else would he know to just go ahead and throw that out there? He knows what's coming next. And then he has absolutely no response for it at all whatsoever.
I get it.
Then do something about it.
Even with the $600 check and the $1,200.
$1,200 check. It's like you are not talking about people who are living off the street, who don't have a mortgage, who don't have a place to, who just have nothing. This is not who you're talking about. You are talking about the working class and business owners who have more money than that, so they have a lifestyle and a spending habit more than that. What the hell are you talking about?
$100 check and the unemployment insurance benefit is not enough. I understand the.
Then if you're so damn smart and you understand this, then what's your plan? What are you going to do about it? How can you say this? Because it doesn't matter. Because no matter how horribly all this is, nothing's going to happen to this sack of trash. Just nothing. These people can just all jump off a cliff or he cares, and it's just doesn't matter.
The economic hardship. We all feel it.
Liar. This guy's a millionaire. He doesn't feel a damn thing. He can order up anything, anytime, anywhere, from anywhere around the world and have it shipped to him overnight. What a lie. What do you mean we? It's not everyone. Look, are you telling me that this guy is so daft that he doesn't know about how this doesn't affect rich people? He's one of them.
The question is, what do you do about it?
No, it's not. That's like saying, I've come up and I've broken your window. What are you going to do to fix your window to your car? I didn't break it. It's not my fault. I didn't do this. The responsibility is on this lying sack of trash.
And do you put public health at risk?
Public health at risk? Public health at risk happens all the time, every single day, all over the place. There are people out there, and I showed a video about this, where there are people who are literally allergic to water. There are thousands of people out there who are allergic to water, and just sweating causes them to break out in rash. And that whenever they get themselves cleaned up, they have to use alcohol wipes, because alcohol is obviously not water. And I made a video showing that, you know what, there are things like cancer and car crashes and all these other things which are, they kill more people than what COVID has. Some of these things, twice as many. I do not worry about cigarette smokes and cancer. I do not worry about car crashes. I don't worry about heart disease. I don't do any of that stuff. You know why? Because I don't drive like a raging maniac down the streets. I don't stuff my face full of food, causing high blood pressure and heart issues because I'm out of shape, because I exercise and work and have a good diet. Because I do those things. So it's not a concern for me. Because I'm not stupid. But he's lying. He's lying. I don't know how else to put it. What else would you call it? If it's something else, then put it down there in the description below, and then I will tear you apart for your lies.
And do you drive up the number of deaths?
No, that is wrong. Every single time, whenever you see something talking about COVID, they never talk about the deaths, because from what I understand as of this moment is that the deaths are actually going down. It's the cases that are going up, but the deaths are going down. And it's because it's something along these lines. Is that whenever COVID first came, all these people got COVID. And now this time, all these people got COVID. But these people right here aren't getting COVID again because they died. Because for whatever reason, these were the people who were affected by COVID. And so the cases went down, and now there's a new strain, and it's going back up again. But there aren't these people who are alive anymore who can die from it because they already got wiped out with the first wave. So they're not there anymore. It's like, okay, well then why are they dying? Why are there people who are still dying? It's the same reason. People don't live forever. And so now we have a new set of people who are now older. I didn't stop aging just because COVID came along. Who did that? You know, if the affected age range is like who people who are really at risk of dying, if they're senior citizens, well, they're still senior citizens, and now they're a year older, so they're even more acceptable to this than they were last year. And what else happened to them? Did they have other complications that came along, and now they're affected? Did their inactivity and their poor diets now finally start to kick in? Because they kick in at some point in time. So there still are some. It's just, it's not this big thing anymore. Before there was a lot. And now it's just a little bit. Because, yep, people are still getting older. People still figure out, they find out that, oh, now I have respiratory problems for whatever reason because of my age or an accident, or maybe the smoking I've been doing has caught up to me. Whatever the case. Maybe I just have weak lungs and they just ran their course, and now it's like they're at the end of their life cycle, and so now COVID's going to get them. That's why it's not a lot, at least from my understanding. And this makes complete and total sense. And whenever you see this on the news, that's what they talk about, is the new COVID cases. They don't talk about the deaths. Because if the deaths were horrible and it was like a big concern, then why wouldn't they lead with that? You hardly ever find it. It's the cases. Oh, the cases. You know, there's hundreds of thousands or millions of cases. So what? Are they dying? I mean, from my understanding, there's very few of them that are even going to the hospital now. I mean, that first time that COVID came around, I mean, they were setting up all these emergency medical temporary stations all over the place where they had all these tents outside. They brought in a medical ship into New York, and they were doing all these things. They didn't get used then. This second go around, they're not even bringing it up. What, are you kidding me? Yeah, so every time, I want you to keep this in your mind. Every time that you hear somebody talk about this or you read about it on some article, are they talking about deaths or are they talking about cases? Because I don't give a damn about cases. I don't give a damn if everybody in the world gets COVID. If hardly anybody's dying, I don't care. I'm not going to wrap myself up in a bubble because not even 1% of the population is dying from it. It's ridiculous.
For it. Because you have no idea how to reopen now.
What do you mean you have no idea to reopen now? You just said it. You reopen. This is exactly what. After World War II, I don't know the guy's name, but the Chancellor of Germany, he just came on in. All right, so I just Googled it real fast just to find something here. So it's called the German economic miracle. And so before, by 1948, the German people had lived under price controls for 12 years and rationing for 9 years. Adolf Hitler had imposed price controls on the German people in 1936 so that his government could buy war materials at artificially low prices. Oh, okay. Well, never heard that part before, but that makes sense. And then the change was that they decided to get rid of all this. And so whenever they looked at it, then on that Sunday, the German Bozono Economic Council adapted at the urging of right here, a price decontrolled ordinance that allowed and encouraged to eliminate price controls. So in other words, the way that I've always heard this is that the German chancellor, and I guess his council or whatever came into, and on Sunday, whenever they knew the Allies were not in session, they came in and they said, we're deregulating everything. They got rid of all the red tape. They said, we're just going to let people do whatever it is that they need to do so that they can do this. And you know what happened? People did it. This is after World War II. And this, they just shot up. They became an economic powerhouse after that and became one of the strongest countries in the world, and economically. Militarily, no, because of, they lost World War II. They were like, no, you're not going to do this. Same thing with Japan. And we put up military bases over there in Germany. I was in one of them. I was a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout. I was stationed in Büdingen, Germany. It was one of Adolf Hitler's barracks it was an artillery base is what it was. That's what they had used it for. And that's where we were living. It's not there anymore. I think not too long after I left, they moved out, and then they went back to Fort Hood, Texas, and they were reconstructed as a reconnaissance unit. So, because scouts, that's what they do. Anyways, so what do you mean you don't know what to do? Are you trying to tell me that nobody in history has ever looked at socialism or capitalism or anything of the like? It's like it's just the stupidity, the arrogance. Don't know what to do. How about the opposite? Oh, we closed and now we're going to open. How about that? What do you mean? You have nothing? So let me get this straight. In other words, what he's saying is that we decided to close with no idea how we're going to do it because we don't know anything about history and we didn't care about the future and what it was going to hold for anyone. We had no plan at all of any. I mean, they didn't even come up with a plan that sounded like trash because that would have been a little bit better than nothing at all. So there was nothing. How did this get through? How did the government allow this to happen? There's just nothing. What? Were you just planning on staying like this forever? I don't understand this.
They're saying that is there a fundamental right to work if the government can't get me the money when I need it?
So shouldn't I have the fundamental right to work if the government can't do that? I've said this before too. You have no human rights. That is a false narrative. You don't have human rights. You are not, because you are born a human, you don't have a right to anything besides die. That is the only thing that's guaranteed to happen to you after you've been born. That's it. You're not guaranteed any milk as a baby. You're not guaranteed clothing. You're not guaranteed anything. No matter how old you are, man, woman, black, white, it doesn't matter. You're not guaranteed anything. The right wordage is government rights. Or, that's not even right. Do you have freedom from the government to do what it is that you want? Or do you have government dictatorship dictating to you what you can or cannot have? There's no human right. You have no human right to medical care. You have no human right to food. You have no human right to anything. You're talking about government privileges. Do you want to be privileged where you can get this from the government? That's exactly what happens with poor people. They are living a life of privilege. Not a great, huge, big life. I mean, they're obviously not privileged rich people. They're privileged poor people because they get all these things for free from the government and they don't have to do a damn thing. They just get it. So whenever you hear some of these people talk about, well, I'm living like kings and queens, it's like, yeah, you are. Because you don't have to work, you don't have to do anything, and the people are providing for you to do nothing. You've got Section 8 housing, HUD housing, you've got food stamps, you've got Medicare, Medicaid, you've got all of these things, free education, all this stuff. And you don't have to do anything. Trash. 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 It's government privilege. You want privilege to come from the government because the government is the only one that can force everybody to pay into these taxes and to pay in these programs. They're the only ones.
Is there
Yeah,
a
you want to go, by the
fundamental
way,
right
you want to go to work? Go take the job.
Oh my! Oh, what? I tell you what, I don't understand why there's not somebody who works for Cuomo that whenever he opens his mouth, somebody is there to just not punch him in his face, to shut him up. I tell you what, everything that comes out of this man's mouth is ridiculous.
Job as an essential worker.
What? Go do essential work? And but what would that be? What would that be? He is acting like, well, before the lockdowns, we had 100% employment. And so we could shut down parts of the economy because we had 100% employment, and we had all these jobs that weren't being filled because they couldn't get any more workers because all the workers were already taken. So we could shut down part of the economy, and we could force these workers who already had jobs into these other jobs, these essential jobs that apparently weren't getting filled, and they were just dangling there, and so everybody could be taken care of. No. There's always been unemployment. There have always been people who've been unemployed. And so they don't work the same. They're a counterbalance. They got rid of jobs by saying this made up crap of, well, some of these jobs are not essential. We don't need them. It's like they're all needed because everybody needs to work. Everybody should be able to go out and get a job and provide for themselves. But they said, nope, we've got all these jobs, and now we're only going to have this many. So that means all these people lost their jobs, which the unemployment, while it may not have been very high, it was there because it wasn't zero. It was like, nope, we have some unemployment. Now we got rid of these jobs, and now all these people are now unemployed. Where are they going to go work? There might still be some jobs out there, but it's not nearly enough. So what the hell is he talking about? What the hell is he talking about? It's not like, well, here's the unemployment, here are all the jobs. It's not like, well, we're going to get rid of jobs, and we're also going to get rid of more unemployment. No, it's a counterbalance. We're going to get rid of these jobs. And so they're a counterbalance. If you get rid of jobs, then unemployment goes up. If you create jobs, then unemployment goes down. So if one goes up, the other goes down, and vice versa. So you got rid of jobs, so now there's more people who's unemployed. It's like, I don't get it. It's like, is he really this stupid? Is that what you're going to tell me? That he's really this dumb? How many other people fell for this? Oh yeah, just go get an essential job. Okay, how many people are? Let's look. Yep, let's just look. Okay, so just up something here. This is the departmentofnumbers.com. This is Department of Numbers right here. New York unemployment. Blah blah blah. And so here's a chart. Here's a little graph right here. And guess what this is? 2019. This is COVID. COVID comes here. That's what that spike is. And then it's slowly going down. And part of it is because, you know what? It's not like these people found jobs. You know what some of these people are? Some of these people are people who moved. Some of it is people that they might have started their own business and they started operating online. Some of these people, and this is a little thing that I learned a while ago, and that was usually whenever they're looking at unemployment, they're only looking at people who are looking for employment. So how many of these people just stopped? It's like, well, you're not employed, but you're not looking for a job. And we're only concerned about those people who are looking for a job. And it makes sense in a way. For example, it's like a child. It's like, well, technically a little kid is unemployed, but you wouldn't consider them to be a part of this. They're not looking for a job. They can't get a job. You know, a little 10-year-old isn't out there looking for a job. So the number of people unemployed in New York peaked in April 2020 to 1,435,000 plus. Now there are fewer than 700,000 people. Without the contents behind it, you don't know what's going on. How many of those people? I have a tenant who moved from out of state because of COVID. They straight up said because of COVID. Some of these units that I have that are available, I was getting calls from California and New York because they wanted out. this means nothing. It's like, okay, well, why? Don't tell me that they just dropped. Tell me why. Why? That's not enough. And so it would have been great if this woman had also said, okay, well, we have roughly 1.5 million people unemployed. Show me 1.5 million essential job working ads out there. There's not. There might be this many jobs.
Do it tomorrow.
I wish she was just thrown for a loop. I think that's it. I think that was it. I think that she had kind of her little thing. It was probably a little bit too narrow for what she was wanting to talk about, and then he just kind of veers off here in a direction that she wasn't planning for. Maybe I'm looking a little bit too much into this girl. You know, maybe it was just to be a little softball, which is why she didn't have anything kind of lined up afterwards. It's like, go do it tomorrow. Oh, the response should have been, okay, well, there's 1.5 million people who don't, so show me the 1.5 million jobs out there. Ugh! The lies.
Right, you're working.
She's a reporter. She has gotten in there. She's working. Oh my. There's like 15 people in this room. Are you going to stick 1.5 million people in there? How about 1,000 people? Are you going to do that? What the hell are you talking about? You're working. How pathetic. What kind of... Damn, dude.
Right, you're working.
I am.
You're an essential worker. So go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of the
No, there are
pandemic.
people hiring.
Oh, see, that's why I think this girl is kind of legitimate, because she just said, they're not hiring. There's no jobs because you closed the economy. You had all these jobs and you got rid of them because you said they weren't essential. It's not like the unemployment rate stayed at like 2% or whatever it was. No, it just shot up. See this? It shot up. It's like...
You can get a job as an essential worker.
Just because you can go and get that job, doesn't mean the job actually exists. It's like, oh, I can go get a job working at Walmart. Well, let me go see if Walmart's hiring. No, they're not. You know what else? What he also did was that he killed people. You know why? Because he created super spreader sites. So he took all these small little businesses, they closed them down, and they forced them into big box retail stores. So if you didn't want to go to Walmart or Target or Best Buy or Lowe's or Home Depot to do your shopping because you were worried about getting COVID, or if you were at high risk, you can go to the little small mom and pop place. Now you're being forced into these hugely trafficked areas where you are almost trying to say, I want you to get COVID. I want to guarantee that you get COVID, because now you're going to be there with everyone. No, I was wanting to go to this little small and pop place over here. It's close by. I could have gotten in, gotten out. They're not nearly as busy. Walmart's always busy, even before COVID. There's always plenty of people at Walmart. But this little small and pop place, it's like, no, they don't have that much traffic. I know if I get there early in the morning too, nobody's going to be there, so I could be there with almost nobody. Or this little small hardware store, or wherever it is that you wanted to go, you can't anymore. And this means also through association. So if you don't go to Walmart, how many people do you know who do? How many people are your friends who are poor or working class or middle class, and they do? You go out to eat somewhere, for example, and it might even be a nice place that you go and eat. The workers there, chances are, it's like, no, they're going to go to Walmart. And so if Walmart had COVID, because the cashier got COVID, because all these people are going through, and then they turn around and they give COVID to all their customers because the cashier's got it, And that person at this restaurant or who comes and does your cleaning or whatever it is, it's like, so even if you're rich, you have just screwed yourself over. Because you have created these super spreader places. Congratulations. You've killed people. Because, who gets to decide that? It's these people's doctors. That should be it. And some people are just like, well, no, I don't need a doctor. I know I'm fat, I'm lazy, and I'm old. That I don't need to be there. And I know that I can go to this place because it's real easy, it's real small, and it's close to my home, so it's easy for me. And I don't have to go to some big box store. Or I can go to this place over here because it's close to my work. And same thing. You know what? I know it's small. I know that after I get to work that I can leave like 10 minutes early and go there before big rush and get there before everybody else, do what I need to do, and be in, be out, and not risk being around all these people from COVID if I'm worried about it. What he did was the exact opposite of what he said. And then this makes no sense too either, is that, well, go get a job. It's like, I thought the whole purpose of closing down the economy was to stop people from working, to stop people from spreading it around. So if they go out and they say these jobs are out there and they do go work, then what have you done? They're still out there working. They still have bosses, employees, customers, supervisors, all that kind of stuff anyways. Well, what does it matter? Well, what does it matter if they go from one job to another? If you're trying to stop the spread, if you're trying to prevent deaths, if you're trying to do all this stuff, but all you've done is said, you can't work these little personal businesses anymore, now you got to go work for... Makes no sense. I don't understand this. I didn't keep up with this stuff. I mean, I heard a little bit about it every now and then, and part of the reason why I didn't know anything about it was because I don't live in New York, I live in Texas, and so we don't have this stuff. The only problems that we're having right now is that we don't have any kind of change for some reason. And part of it is because, from my understanding, is that the government is just giving all of these benefits, and it's like people don't want to work. So I'm getting $15 an hour worth of benefits, whether if it's food stamps, HUD, whatever, and through the cash that's just coming. Why am I going to go work $15 an hour? It's like I'm getting exactly the same pay, except one, I get to sit around and do whatever the hell I want. The other one is I got to go work. And so even if you offer me $5 more, it's like that's really what you're talking about. You're talking about me going and working 40 hours a week for $5. It's like, no, why am I going to do that? And so now that they're having a problem hiring people because it's like, well, we do need all these truckers. And one of the things that truckers haul around is money. And so now we are having a problem with change. It's like I like the little self-checkout kiosks that they have, but right now it's only cards. It's like, I don't want a credit card. I haven't had one. I always pay cash. You know why? Because I don't want to pay into a credit card company. I know how to manage my money well enough. It's damn easy where I don't have to use a credit card. So then that way I don't have to pay all their rates and fees and everything for the privilege to use their stupid little piece of plastic. It's like, I don't care. I don't want it. It is so much nicer that I can go and I can get like $300 from my bank, and then that way, as I see the money coming out of my wallet, I have a rough idea of how much money it is that I'm going through. Instead of this random piece of plastic where I have no idea and I have to take special effort to go online and see what my current balance is, or I have to take special effort to write it all down and keep notes of all this stuff. You know what? Whenever it's just cash in my wallet, it's like, oh, I have $50 left out of the 300. How easy is that? So, he makes no sense. Oh, we're not saying that you can't work, you can't do these jobs, but go do these jobs, that's fine. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You said, trying to protect people.
I get it. Even with the $600 check and the $1,200 check and the unemployment insurance benefit is not enough. I understand the economic hardship.
No, you don't, liar.
We all feel it. The question is, what do you do about it?
They can't do anything because you took their options away.
And do you put public health at risk?
If they can go out and they can go get a job anyways, it's just you're saying no to these jobs and yes to these jobs, then isn't the public health still at risk? That is exactly what it is. Public health is still at risk. What are you talking about?
And do you drive up the number of deaths?
What are those numbers? What are those numbers? Why don't you have those numbers? Show me what those numbers are. Oh, the lies, the lies, the lies. This is exactly what I was talking about. Daily new deaths. Few hundred right here. Cumulative deaths. Is this New York? Is this New York? Who is this? No, it says global United States down to New York. Cumulative deaths. 50,000? Cases. Confirmed cases. Yep, cases. 2.5 million. New York cases. Cases. I don't care. A little over 2 million. Deaths. 53,000? What? What? Oh, I gotta. Let's see. Here we go. New York State population. It's roughly 20 million people. 53,000 deaths? So they stopped they stopped the economy in New York, and they did all this stuff, and they have roughly 5 million people who are unemployed. And it's probably more than that. Because how many of these people are like, well, you know what, my spouse makes plenty of money, I don't have to work. We have everything together enough financially where we don't have a lot of money, and we're kind of getting by on one, and there's nothing that we can do. And so, just going to do maybe some smaller little things at home. Maybe I'll do some crafts and sell them online through eBay or Etsy or whatever the case may be. Maybe I just do something else. Maybe I'll build some things and sell them. Whatever. Who knows? Because nobody's reporting on this stuff. 20 million people. So we're going to close the entire state over 53,000 deaths. That's that means like 1 out of 10,000 people is dying. Something like that. Something ridiculous. Some ridiculous number. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? 1 out of 10,000 people. Is that right, or is it higher? Because I know it's not lower. In that other video, I pulled up information from the CDC. And it's like over twice as many people die from car wrecks. From people falling asleep at the wheel or drunk drivers or whatever the case may be. Should we close down the streets? Should we take everyone's car? Should we, we close the economy, now let's close the streets. Because it's twice as many people who are dying from that. Should we make it illegal to drive? I am not scared about getting killed in any kind of car accident at all. I understand that it happens. It does suck. It's like it would be nice if it went to zero. But that's a utopia fantasy. It's just going to happen. People are just going to get tired. There are going to be morons who are going to drink and drive. There are people who are just going to play with their makeup or the radio or whatever. I had a friend in high school that he got into a car wreck. He was 16, just learning how to drive. And he had a CD that was on the floor. He reached over to pick it up. And whenever he did, he reached with this arm, and this arm pulled down on the steering wheel, put him in the other lane, head-on collision. Fortunately, he lived, had to go through rehab. It's like, it's just going to happen. The world is not perfect. And you can live your life in fear. It's like, okay, put yourself in a bubble suit, go live in a cave, and never come out. If that's what you want to do, fine. But you're not going to tell me to do it. What about you? Should other people tell you how to live your life? I'll tell you then. I'll tell you how to do your life. If you're so incapable of figuring things out for yourself, you can come live with me, and I will dictate to you everything it is that you need to do. And I'll do a good job. I'm a good guy. So if that's really what you want, maybe we'll talk about that. We'll get that going. So, I mean, that's exactly what you're doing whenever you let these politicians lie to you. Republicans or Democrats, they're all trash. Every last one of them. Because there are Republicans here. Where are they? Where are the Republicans to call this crap out? Where are the Republicans to make the exact case that I just made? You could make the case that you just killed more people than 65,000, because now all these people, it's like the suicide rate now. All right, so why is this so? I don't look at this enough. So here it is. I just did suicide rate, risk, lockdown, lack of jobs, and here it is. Lockdown suicide rate reveals predictable tragedy. Lockdown suicide rates on the rise. COVID-19 suicide rate did not rise during first lockdown. This is the BBC, and they're left-wing lunatics. The Daily Mail, which is a UK place, dramatic rise in unemployment is causing a spike in overdose deaths and suicides in some communities. Why the rise of suicides is even more concerning than you may whatever. And this is menshealth.com UK. CDC, www.cdc.gov. Suicide rates across the U.S. Suicide rates increased since, well, that's old, from 1999 to 2016. So here's psych.com. The impact of COVID-19 on suicide rates. No, COVID doesn't cause people to go out and commit suicide. Before I added a little bit wordage here with lockdown and job, it was teenagers. There are all these articles about teenagers committing suicide. You know why? What's causing it is the hyper-hysteria talk about it. And all the stuff that we see in the news and through the internet about how bad COVID is, and you should be scared and you should be worried, and it depresses these stupid little kids because they have stupid parents and stupid teachers who are telling them all this. Oh, well, the cases are going up. It's like, so what? It's like the deaths are minuscule compared to the population. Put it in its proper context, at least make it the attempt. So, no, go screw, yeah, just, no. And this is what I'm trying to do. This is what my work is going to be. My work is going to be showing that there are all of these lies, whether they're intentional or not. And since he is a politician, it's automatically a lie. I don't care if he says it's unintentional or not. It's like, no, this is your job. You made the decision to close down your state's economy. So how do you do that without knowing the truth? How do you do that whenever I tell you I'm not a politician? But you know what I'm not? I'm not stupid, and I'm not gullible. And that I have said this in plain terms so that I'm telling you right now, there are high school kids, probably junior high kids, who are going to be able to see a video like this that I've made, and they're going to go, yeah. And they're going to question this stuff. So why did he do this? He just created super spreader places with all these box store places, with all these big companies, forcing them all to go to one place. How does that make sense? You can still have a job, but it can't be these, and it's only these. And so then what's the point? If they can still go out and work, but it's only these jobs, then how does that do anything? It just hurt people. That's all it did. I don't see how this created any kind of benefit whatsoever. Oh, the suicide rates went up? Oh, well then, if we're trying to prevent people from dying, and we do all this, but the death rate goes up anyways because now more people are committing suicide, it's like, well, that's completely counterintuitive. So if you're tired of the lies, and you're tired of the misinformation, subscribe. Because this is exactly what I'm going to do. I figured out I needed to be a little more specific, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit all these topics, as many as I can, between now and the next election. So then whenever the next presidential election comes, hopefully I can get roughly 80% of the topics that are being talked about. And with the last 20%, it's like, well, hopefully I can just deal with that as they present themselves. And so I have roughly 2 years. 2 years, because I'm talking about the election and the debates. Not the actual president. It's like once whenever the president is there, it's like a day late, a dollar short. So I have about roughly 2 years, and then, we're going to start hearing about the presidential election and start the debates and all that stuff, and it's going to start rolling. And it's like, 2 years. 2 years is enough where I should be able to get most of them. I mean, I won't be able to get all of them because I can't see into the future and see what's really going to be talked about. There will be, I'm sure, some things that I wouldn't be able to see. There'll be new things. It's like, I won't know until it happens, but I can get most of them. Some things just keep reoccurring. So I'll have this. That's the goal. Is that I'm going to try to do a few videos like this each week where it's, well, not exactly quite like this, but with politicians and policies and political issues, and bring both sides of the argument. It's like, we've listened to his side of the argument about how, well, we're trying to slow the spread and save lives, and he was giving reasons for the lockdown, and I gave reasons against the lockdown. And it's like, it doesn't even compare. It's like, where's the other side? Where's the other side of all of these arguments? And then there's so much misinformation out there. It's like, from my understanding, COVID or masks do nothing for COVID. And I just heard something that, what's his name? Dave Rubin just got banned off of Twitter because supposedly there's some information out there that says that there's no difference between people who have been vaccinated and people who haven't with them getting COVID. That the numbers are the same. And it's like, well, then if that's the case, then why get it? If it's not doing anything for you. But there's just so much misinformation. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to prepare this. So specifically too, though, is that I think, and I'm not sure because I'm not that tech savvy, but I think that I should be able to create a website that's really basic, where it'll have all these issues, and it can expand and be more, where I'm going to have a membership. And so people can come and join up and be a member, so then that way you don't have to watch all of these videos, and it'll be more condensed and more to the point. But then also where you can come and post your information too. But now it's got to be based off of facts, so you can't just say it. You have to do this. You have to show proof, which is you really need to go get video footage and then be like, okay, well, then here's what's going on. Sometimes that can't happen. Sometimes they were talking to a reporter and it was all written. It's like, okay, well, where's the article? But it can't. You can still give your opinions on things, but it'll be separate. It's like, all right, here's the facts, here's the evidence, here's the video footage, here's the news article or whatever, here's people's opinions, here's the issues maybe that we haven't addressed, here are issues that maybe aren't political. Maybe this is something to do with just the economy that's, not dealing with the government or whatever. Or maybe these are psychological issues about the health and welfare of people, whatever. And so you can come and you can post this stuff. Now, it's going to be a checks and balances, because I'm not going to let anybody come in here and just post whatever they want to and be like, oh, well, yeah, I just posted there. It's like, no. It's like you're going to have to post it, and then it's going to be up to review for the rest of the community, because I don't have time to check all this stuff. Not at all. I don't give a damn how many people it is that I have. It's like it's going to be impossible. So that's going to be done by y'all. And so it'll be something like, here's my video of a governor. Here's what they said. Here's both sides of it. And I think that the governor is right or wrong. Here it is. And then you post the pros and cons, and you make your little debate. And then everybody else can give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. And then if the thumbs up win, then you won. And then it gets posted as whatever you were going for there. And then it stays there until somebody can come and knock it down. But it's going to be based off of facts. Now, you can have your little theories too, and same thing. It's like, okay, these are the theories behind all this, because maybe there is nothing. Maybe we don't know enough just yet. Maybe there's not enough information. Maybe there hasn't been enough research and studies. And it's because whenever this next presidential election comes, it's like, I want to do the best that I can in getting the best candidate there for the job. And I don't care about a personal life. So an example of this is Trump. I do not care about his personal relationships with other people and with women and whatever. It's like, I don't care. That's not what the president does. The president is not there saying who you can or cannot sleep with. You know, you may not agree with that. I don't agree with it. But it's like, that's not what the president is doing. The president is running the country. He's not leading people's morals and values. I still want him to have good ones, but it only needs to be good morals and values whenever it comes to running the country and government policies and things like that. I didn't elect. Nobody should be electing the president because he has a good relationship with their spouse or their children. Their spouse and their children, they shouldn't be doing anything with the government. I think that those people should be 100% exempt from all government activities. I don't think that Donald Trump with Donald Trump's wife or children should not have one damn thing to do with the government. It's like you can't do anything. He's the president. You can't do it. It's a conflict of interest. Same thing with Joe Biden and his sons. It's like they don't get to do a damn thing. I don't care who it is. It's because I care about what's right and what's wrong. I care about the truth. I don't give a damn about Republicans or Democrats. Screw them both. I want what's best for everyone. Anyways, oh my goodness, look at this. It's an hour. I was thinking to myself, you know what? I think I can sum this up in 10 minutes. And here we are at almost an hour. I can go on with stuff. I have so much to say. And it's like, I can keep going. Because, stop. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if you did, and if you've learned something, and if you too, if you're tired of the lies, the manipulation, this is a Ponzi scheme is what this is. Oh my goodness, don't get me going on that. Because I watched a lot of this show, Scams, Scoundrels, and Suckers, which I think they later changed it to American Greed. It was Ponzi schemes galore. And it's like, the more I look at this, the more it's like, it's a Ponzi scheme. Or at least there's several parts of it where it is. Oh, it's just... So I don't know if it's 100%, but you start making that argument for it for sure. There's a little bit of it. Anyways, share the video. Help me out getting the word on out there, because I don't care how you vote. I'm not here to change your minds. I just want you to be as well informed as you possibly can. And it's a lot of this is going to be on that website, where it will probably be something like a forum kind of thing, and people can upvote and downvote everything, and you can get all this information at one convenient place, because I want to hit it all. And I think that will actually work really good, because this is the basis of the grand website that I want to do, where it's all based off of facts and evidence and not just people's opinions. It's like, you can have it. I want you to be able to express yourself, but they need to be separate. And right now, it's just all meshed together. And you see this with these crazy activist people. It's like, well, the trans people this. It's like, you don't represent the trans people. Trans people didn't nominate you to do a damn thing. You just nominated yourself with a few of your friends to go out and do this. You don't represent anybody. At least with the politicians, they can say, I do represent people, because I was voted into office. You weren't voted into anything. It's just you and some kooky people who are doing this, and it's more driven off of money than it is off of being right or wrong. Nobody elected you to do a damn thing. You know, no. So share the video. This is a real good one. It's in layman's terms. I like it that way because I want as many people to understand it. And I'm going to make this, and you can be a part of it. I'm not going to restrict anybody. This is part of the reason why I call it freedom of expression, is that I'm not going to ban anybody from anything. It's like, Well, right now at first, because it's just me, but later, whenever I start building the grand site, I'm going to give the controls to the people. It's like if you don't want to hear something, you will have the ability to block or do whatever. You know why? Because I believe in you. I believe in people being competent and responsible for themselves. So I hope you've enjoyed. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, become a member, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.